the West Coast Cavs game tonight. They did pretty well. Took the Warriors twice.
Yes, that was awesome.
Once here and then once in the Warriors' home court. 118-110 was the Saturday night final. They're in Sacramento tonight. Tristan Thompson's old team, wasn't he with the Kings for a minute?
Yeah.
Cavs, Kings tonight. That is West Coast. 10 o'clock is your tip-off tonight.
Is Mike Brown their coach?
On MMS. Sacramento Kings. That's a good question. Coach is Mike Brown, former Cavalier's coach. So, yeah, Cavs, Kings, tonight on the Buzzard, 10 o'clock. And then another late game tomorrow night. They're going to play the Trailblazers up in Portland. But you'll hear all of it here. 9:30 is when all that pregame coverage will begin. And you can listen live if you like on the iHeartRadio app. Just FYI. One of my favorite clarifications, public statements in recent memory, is James L. Brooks and all the other producers of The Simpsons going, whoa, 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 whoa. Homer is still going to strangle Bart. Don't buy into the fake news, because they made a big deal about the fact that The Simpsons, in their 35th season, they just kicked that off, would update the show and that Homer would no longer strangle Bart. A long time device of that show, right? Why, you little, and then, strangling. And they said, they're not going to do that anymore. I played you a little clip from a recent episode where they kind of alluded to that. And James L. Brooks, of course, the longtime, one of the creative minds behind The Simpsons, says, nothing's getting tamed. Nothing, nothing, nothing is his quote. So Homer, for those of you who are worried, too woke.
Don't worry, he'll still abuse a child.
Homer will still continue to strangle Bart.
Everyone wants.
On The Simpsons, right. Said he'll continue to do what he's always done, and they're not going to change that. He'll be continued, the way they put it is, he'll continue to be loved by his father in a very specific way.
Oh.
I guess is how they're, the old spoil the rod, spare the child. That's how my parents raised us. My parents, because, we were Catholic, went to Catholic school, and my parents were old school. My mom just turned 75 last week. I had a nice long conversation with her. But that's how I was raised. It's how a lot of Gen Xers were raised, especially in Catholic households. Parents were very big into corporal punishment. And we weren't spared that. And my parents scoffed at me. It was, don't mistake me, it was a full-on audible scoff when I started having children and told my parents that I was not going to discipline them in the way in which I was disciplined. Which was frequently and physically, right? I got spanked all the time. And I said, we're not going to do that. My ex-wife with our older kids and Gwen and I with Nora, I said, we're not doing that. Oh, well, it had been established with the older kids. I didn't have to say it for the third, and they were like, good luck.
Not too late to change your mind.
True. But, no, it's not my thing. And I think there might be a lot of people my age who kind of came to that conclusion if that's the kind of childhood they had. And now, conversely, there were a lot of kids that didn't get disciplined physically, and they grew up with all kinds of problems. So it's one variable on the curve, right? It's 1 point on the curve. What?
That was just my laptop.
So, but The Simpsons will continue to strangle Bart with as
they should.
Yeah, Homer. That's right. But I really liked that retraction. Normally,
what if they said Homer will still strangle Bart, but it'll just be consensual BDSM from now on?
Well, or we're adding something else. Yeah. Why does Bart have a ball gag in his mouth? Well, just a little something we've added.
Homer will be a leather daddy from here on out.
It's just about representation.
We're trying to accommodate the 21st century in the best way that we can. Anyway, so when last we left Uranus, Missouri, Mary was going through the sideshow there, going through the roadside attraction.
Yeah.
Midwest dudes in Crocs who probably just couldn't get enough.
Oh, they loved it.
Those guys were probably, that was probably the hardest decision they had to make in a long time, which 3 shirts are they going to get?
Right. Or a shirt
So
and a
we're
mug.
going to get one.
Shirt and a shot glass.
Right. What
Shot glass
collection
and a
of
beer.
hilarious Uranus paraphernalia were they going to walk away with?
So, that's the Fudge Factory. They do make fudge. It's pretty good fudge. I tasted the fudge.
I mean, they have to,
Yeah,
right? They can't
right.
just call it the Fudge Factory. They got a Uranus Fudge Factory in outside Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think it's a franchise, but
that's like the main part of it. And then there's this other little part. It's set up like a Western town where it's just like one door next to each other. It's fake.
like saloon doors.
Saloon doors. It's fake, okay? But it's a fake town. And the sideshow museum, I was like, all right, I got time. I'm gonna wander in here, and I go in, and it's basically just a bunch of old like comic books, and all the walls are like covered in like the bearded lady and the strong man, and one was the tattoo girl, which I guess is a sideshow attraction back then. The
Back
woman
then it
had
was
tattoos.
women with tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that's
What
like
an
the
And
wall.
strong man, like now would just be someone that's like, have you listened to the new Joe Rogan podcast yet?
Right. So when I walk in, and by the way, so I walk in and the lady behind the desk, she goes, "Welcome to the Sideshow Museum where you can see the strangest things in Uranus," right?
Are you
like
by
that.
yourself?
I'm by myself.
Okay.
Okay. And I am the only one in here.
Imagine
So-
that poor woman who has to say that every day.
Wait a minute.
That got old on day 2.
Here's the thing
For
is that
her.
when you walk into the Fudge Factory / general store, every single employee has to say in unison, "Welcome to Uranus." And then when you leave, all of them in unison say, "Thank you for picking Uranus." That's every single time. Like I was on the phone with Brian and I
So
had
they
to
don't get a
step.
ton of heavy traffic. These people will be
No.
saying nothing but that.
That's all they do.
To
I'm not
every
joking.
individual who has to-
Every individual. So
so
every
that's all they're
group.
saying.
I was on the phone with Brian. I had to leave the store because every 5 to 10 seconds, you're hearing a group of employees scream, "Welcome to Uranus." It was. I can't imagine working there. Like for as much as people complain about their jobs, you could be working there. So I walk into the Sideshow Museum. The woman, "Welcome to the Sideshow Museum. You're about to see all the strangest things in Uranus." And I'm looking around, and it's like magic sets. It's like Michael Scott level magic sets. You know what I mean? Where it's like put a cigarette through a quarter and a cup and ball game. And so I'm looking around and I was like, "Is this the actual museum?" She goes, "No, the museum's behind this door. Did you want to go back there?" And I was like, "Well, how much does it cost?" And she's like, $6. I was like, "Well, what's back there?" Because you obviously don't have like actual sideshow
People, yeah.
freaks back there. And she goes, "Well, we have like mermaids and chupacabras and
All indigenous to Missouri.
and then she goes, "We have mermaids, chupacabras, Bigfoots." I said, "Those are all fake things. Like you do not
Bigfoots.
right, big feets. I don't know, Bigfoots." And it was like, none of those things are real. And then she was like, "Well, they're like specimens." She kept saying, yeah.
Specimens.
And
yeah.
then she was like, "Well, but we do have a lot of real freak animals. So there'd be like
You couldn't
two-headed
just-
monkey."
You couldn't just play along, Mary.
Well, I just wanted to
They
know.
know they're all fake.
Two-headed
It's
monkey.
$6.
$6. Listen, two-headed monkey, six-legged pig, like pickled jars. You know what I'm talking about when they put the
Yes.
animals in those. She goes, "There's a lot of
Dr.
that."
Mengele's sideshow attraction.
I said, "Okay." So I'm like, all right, I think I'll go in there. But as I'm having this conversation with the woman at the counter, a big lady, like she's built a lot like Bill, okay? She comes out.
Sizable carriage.
Sizable carriage. She is covered from all visible skin is covered in leopard print tattoo. She walks out of the bathroom and she looks at me and goes, "Want to see me swallow a sword?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do you work here?" Because there's no introduction. You're not in any kind of a uniform. Like you just walk out of the
Her
bathroom.
existence is her uniform.
She just walks out of the bathroom and looks at a stranger in the face and says, "Do you want to see me swallow a sword?" And I kind of looked at her. I was like, is that something you do? Like, and she was like, "Well, did you pay your $6?"
Yeah, she's a plant.
But why would she be coming out of the bathroom?
Because
She has to go to the bathroom.
leopard-covered sword swallowers have to defecate too, Mary.
Yeah, you ever swallow a sword? It gives you the runs.
So she goes,
That's the one time you have no trouble with Uranus?
and lots of extra questions. When I was like, "Is that something you do?" She goes, "Well, did you pay your $6?" And I was like, I'm going to now.
I'm a gonna.
I'm gonna.
Turn tootin'.
So I paid my money. I walk in. She's doing something behind the counter. And I'm like kind of just getting a feel for it. And I'm looking at all the two-headed animals and all the weird stuff that they got. And then the leopard lady walks in. And I hear her talking to 2 other people. By the way, again, I'm the only person in this museum. And she goes, "Okay, come on, guys. Time to round up. It's time for the show." And so we like go over to this like little weird stage area. And she gets herself all set up. It's me and 2 other young girls. But these girls are like college age. They're maybe 19 or 20. So 3 of us, that's it, in this entire place. And she's up on the stage and she's going through some of those entry-level magic tricks on stage. But she's doing it with absolutely no enthusiasm.
Oh, I love that. That almost makes it better.
Like no enthusiasm.
She's done it 4,000 times.
Yeah,
There's like
and $6.
And there's 3 of us, okay? So
Yeah.
she has like a silver water pitcher that she like pour. Look, there's nothing in it, right? Nothing in it. She sets it down. She does like the cup and ball trick where, oh, look, it's 1 ball. Now it's 3 balls. And then she like pours water magically out of the silver thing into a cup. Like, see, it was that crazy magic that it refilled. But that's exactly how she was saying it. Like, isn't this magical the way that this keeps refilling?
Unenthusiastic magic sounds amazing. I love this.
It's a great ELO song.
I found out this is the only type of magician I like is one who just truly does not care, understands that they're like, we're not going to fool you. We just tried to sell you all of these tricks in the gift shop. She had one. It was a metal square, and then when you shook it, it turned into a metal circle.
Is this an older woman?
She didn't look good, but she was
Okay.
probably 45.
Okay, so she wasn't like some indignant teenager who's working
No,
in part-time
no.
going, yeah.
This is
okay.
this woman's job.
Yeah.
And I think she knows
This
that's
is this
where she's
woman's
at.
career.
Career, you're right.
She's probably an investor in Uranus fudge or something.
So something about this when the metal piece was a circle, something about look at your hole in Uranus, and she moved it to a square. Don't be
Yeah.
a square.
Right.
Come back to Uranus, that kind of stuff. So then she goes, okay, everybody, get your cameras out. Now's the time. And so-
Here's the finale.
I can't stress enough that that's exactly how she's saying it. Okay, now's the time, guys. Get your cameras out. So we take out our cameras.
Get your cameras out.
Me and the 2 young girls, 3 of us. We pull out our camera and she's like spraying down her sword, telling us all about how she's going to do the sword sawing, all this stuff. So she does it. She puts the sword in and she swallows it and she like puts her hands out. And then there's like this Tesla coil that sends an electric shock from the coil to the sword. So that made me scream out loud because I wasn't ready for that. And then we're like, whoa, like that's crazy, you know? And then she turns the coil off, takes the sword out, and again, there's only 3 of us, and we all have cell phones in our hands. So we can't clap or do anything. So she takes the thing out, and she goes, that's it.
Please clap.
Just pulled a Jeb Bush on you. Wow. And everybody filmed it.
Yes, I have the video.
Man.
But me and the 2 girls, we
It'd be
didn't
great
know
if
what
they
to
said,
do.
please, no flash photography.
We didn't know what to do, so we were like, we kind of just reacted the same way you react when like a little kid shows you a kick or something, where
Sure.
we're like, good job, buddy. Like, nice. And we're like, because again, we're not clapping. There's only 3 of us. We can't really do anything. And so she's kind of standing there. It's so uncomfortable and so awkward.
Everybody didn't do the phone in the armpit thing and clap just to, put on a show for you.
Well, no, because the young girls were so visibly uncomfortable to even be in there. I was
Right.
having a pretty good time. So we put our phones away and we're like, good job. That's really cool. And then she goes, are there any questions like that? And I was like, has it ever gone wrong? Like, I want to know. You're a sword
It all
swallower.
went wrong.
Right.
She's
I mean,
there.
not to lead you here. Like, I knew that part. I knew your life had gone wrong. I meant the trick itself. And she goes, well, you know, you can get a thing that's called a sword throat, where if you do it too many times, your throat gets raw and you lose your lunch.
Yeah.
Okay. And she goes, if I try to do it.
You're like, I'm sorry, sore throat?
That's what I
No,
kept saying. No,
sword throat.
Sword throat.
And she goes,
And it looks like it hasn't happened to her.
not yet. She goes, if you try to do it more than twice in 5 minutes or 3 times in 15 minutes, you'll throw up. And I was like, that's...
Wow, who knew there was so much math
Bro,
involved?
that's a statistic.
Yeah.
She knows that from having tried it 4 times in 15 minutes and
Yeah.
realized that that's not okay. So then I asked her, I was like, well, how many times a day are you doing this? Like, because they don't have set show times.
Right.
Like, hey, come through at noon, 2, 4, and 6, and that's our show
It's
time.
whenever there's people.
And that's what she said. She goes, well, I kind of have to do it whenever somebody walks in. She goes, so
And
they'll
how
be...
old was this woman?
This is the same woman. She's like 45.
Oh, the same
This is
woman.
the same woman doing the magic tricks, doing the sword swallowing.
The leopard lady.
The leopard lady.
Yeah.
The lady who walked out of the bathroom and was like, do you want to see me swallow a sword?
Did
You're
you
like,
pay
I'd
your
like to-
$6?
I'd
Did
like
you
to
pay
see
your
you.
$6?
I'd like to see you wash your hands first.
They might have been dry.
Yeah.
But she goes, yeah, so there's some days where she's like, I've done it where my max in a day, in an 8-hour shift, is 30 times. Where she'll swallow a sword 30 times in a day. She goes, anything more than that, I start to get really sick and I can't do it, or I'll have to take a day off or this or that. She goes, yeah, but like on a slow day, I might only do it 15 or 20 times.
Damn.
But on a busy day, I'll do it 30
4 times an hour.
Dude, that's insane.
Oh.
And she goes, yeah, because it's kind of like
In the
whenever
middle
people
of
walk
nowhere,
in,
Missouri.
and these are people who just come in, they want to laugh at the Uranus puns, ha, ha, ha. Oh, they also have the world's largest belt buckle there.
See, that's what I remember. Was the world's largest belt buckle is at that place, which compared to everything else seems like so out of place.
Well,
'Cause
exactly.
They go, hey, it's all poop puns. Oh, and the world's largest belt buckle. It's like, why don't you lead with that? Because people who are looking for like that Guinness type crap on the roadside,
Yeah.
ball of twine, but they're making a beeline for the belt buckle.
So the belt buckle's outside next to a double-decker bus that's all Uranus themed. Again, puns and aliens and every other thing.
Yeah.
And then the Fudge Factory and then the sideshow for $6. And
Did you get any fudge?
I did. I got it was pretty good. Fudge messes me up. Fudge is just cream, butter, and sugar. Like I can't be eating fudge. So I ate a little bit. I did a taste tester and I got a piece for my buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my afternoon at the Uranus Fudge Factory, hanging out with the leopard lady. And
Leopard lady with sword throat.
I'll post the video on my story. I haven't posted the video anywhere yet, but because I wanted to tell it. I wanted to be like, this is, and once you see the video, it's like a minute and a half long, but you need to understand how just unhappy this woman was.
Right.
And then I told her, I felt bad because I was like, do you accept tips? She's like, yeah, we take tips. I handed her $20. I'm like, dude, the fact that this is your life.
Right.
She knows what she's doing. She knows if she tries to oversell it, people are going to be like, oh, that was great. She's happy. She's just happy performing. If she does the sad performance, people are like, oh, here's $20.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
The other two girls didn't give her anything.
Well, they're teenage girls. They don't know what's going on. But also,
cash either.
Those are probably women, a woman rather, who started a career in the circus.
She might have.
And then those went away. So then you're just relegated to, I'm at the Uranus Fudge Factory in the Springfield, Missouri.
Museum.
Yeah. You're like, well, it's a gig. It's a living. I got a trailer out back. And,
I really felt bad for her.
Of course.
Because I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, this is your life. And you just have to do it whenever. Whenever someone has $6.
You're surrounded.
But the more depressing thing is that days when she doesn't do it enough and she's like, man, I didn't make any money today.
Yeah. Well,
I
guess that's true, too.
There's really
I'm
a
sure she
lose-lose
makes an hourly
situation.
wage.
I don't.
But you're working at
not a lot at the Fudge Factory or the
she gets
town.
A cut of the fudge. You're working at those places and you're nonstop all day long seeing people from other places coming and going and on their way. And you're there.
Yeah.
All day, every day, you're there. In what I can assume was a dark room.
It was weird.
To add some ambiance to the
not even dark,
proceedings.
just poorly lit.
Yeah.
Like almost like they didn't, not that they didn't try. They had like live two-headed turtles and stuff, and that was the most well-lit part of the room.
Was the two-headed turtles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it stunk. That like little aquarium room that they had was nasty and stinks. But
it'd be funny if the two-headed turtle also swallowed swords, but it was like the little plastic ones you get with tiki drinks.
Yeah.
But like they had trained them to do it.
Their little fingers.
As a little side.
And then everybody actually clapped for them.
Yeah. Dude, it was
oh my God,
I'm always upstaged by these turtles.
Every time. The pickled pig. One was I have the picture. It was called like a pickled, no, not a pickled. Oh, God.
Like a fetal pig in formaldehyde.
No. What did it say? It was the name that was on it. Oh, six-legged freak pig.
Yeah.
Circa 1958. So they were labeling things like that.
I wonder if that girl's got an OnlyFans account.
I don't know.
Want to watch me swallow this sword?
I don't think so.
Let me give you this money here. A little bit late, but we'll go to a break, and I'll give you this $1,000. Had you paid for that sideshow, you'd have $994 remaining. So good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Deposit. That's deposit. Enter it now at WMMS.com. The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. A bit of advice this football season. always bet on Buzzard. The Buzzard Bookie is back. When you bet on any of 9 keywords a day, you can get a $1,000 bonus. Get in on the action at 30 past the hour every hour. Looking for boosted odds specials? Look somewhere else. The Buzzard Bookie pays out $1,000 9 times every weekday. WMMS reminds you to please listen responsibly. Listening problem? Good. That's the whole